Let's get back to your race and talk about the issues of the campaign, your differences with Katie McGinty, specifically the issues. Let's talk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think there's a single issue where Katie McGinty separates herself from the liberal wing of the Democratic Party. She's extremely partisan, extremely liberal. She's a big supporter of Obamacare, wants to take it further. I disagree. I think individuals should be in control of their health care, not the government. She's a big supporter of this Iran nuclear deal, which I think is a disaster. It doesn't block Iran's path to a nuclear weapon. It paves Iran's path to nuclear weapons. And we hand over $100 billion to a regime that is the world's worst sponsor of terrorism, a regime that's openly hates the United States and advocates all kinds of damage and destruction to the United States. She's supported the EPA's overreach on all kinds of areas where it does real damage to Pennsylvania's economy. So we're going to have some big differences of opinion, and I'm sure we'll litigate them during the campaign.
Right. So will all of the campaign be focused on here's why you shouldn't elect her, or what will you be saying about why people should
I'm going to be talking about my record, what I've done to support economic growth. So I've reached across the aisle to find common ground and for policies that's good for Pennsylvania. The Jobs Act is a legislation that I mostly wrote together with Chuck Schumer and other Democratic senators to make it easier for growing companies to raise the capital that allows them to hire more workers. That was my legislation. I wrote the legislation, again, with bipartisan support, to keep our kids safe from predators in school. I wrote the legislation that will allow Medicare to diminish and hopefully eliminate the divergence of prescription opioids into the black market, which we know is happening and is fueling this opioid abuse. So I'm certainly going to talk about the work I've done to promote economic growth and job security and personal security, standing up for law enforcement. When a politically correct narrative was attacking the police across America, I was the only guy going down to the Senate floor and standing up for our police officers, because I think they do a really good job in very difficult and dangerous circumstances.
You mentioned the opioid, the heroin addiction epidemic, and you also mentioned your opposition to Obamacare, and you've linked the two.
Yes.
You think the two are linked.
Well, there's a link, and this is an unintended consequence, but it's something that I think we've got to fix, and that is that hospitals are required under Obamacare to survey patient satisfaction. That's fine. 3 of the questions deal with how well and to what extent the hospital dealt with pain management. That's okay too. But the problem is that we now link reimbursement to the hospitals to the outcome of those surveys. The danger is we're creating a financial incentive to overprescribe opioids, and hospital administrators and doctors have shared that with me, and I'm just really concerned about that. I think we should de-link the survey from hospital reimbursement.